Welcome to the Million Pound Mission Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Shively, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and I'm on a 1 million pound mission. Now, I've personally lost over 100 pounds, and I've applied what I've learned from my own transformation journey to help my hometown clients lose over 35,000 pounds in just 5 years. Now I'm on a mission to produce over 1 million pounds of results by delivering my best weekly tips, motivation, inspirational stories, and transformation strategies so that you can gain clarity about what you need to do to reach your goals and give you the confidence to take action. And the perfect time to start taking action is right now. So let's do this. This episode is sponsored by you. Yes, that's right. I didn't make a mistake. You guys are going to help me keep this Wednesday episode advertisement free. And you can do that by supporting me as one of my patrons. Now you can go to www.patreon.com/million pound mission and find out how you can become one of my Patreon patrons. Now, Patreon is spelled Patreon. So patreon.com/million pound mission. You can sign up to become one of my patrons and get access to my private Million Pound Mission live Facebook group, where we're going to be doing live online workouts, live mobility sessions, and live question and answer sessions. I'd love to connect with you guys and get you more involved in this Million Pound Mission. So check it out at www.patreon.com/million pound mission. Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Million Pound Mission Podcast. It's your buddy, Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude. How's it going out there in podcast land? I'm pumped up about this one. I have found yet another brother from another mother, Ivan Barrera. My goodness, this dude is on fire right now. If you're following him on social, well, how about this? If you're not following him on social media, you need to be, because this dude is kicking out some wisdom on a daily basis. All right. I'll give you all the goodies to connect with him in the episode. I'm going to make you listen. Check it out first. But Ivan is somebody that's special. He is just another kindred spirit, somebody that really thinks in alignment with the way that I think. So we get along really well. We've got a great vibe in this episode. And I love the quote that I named the show. So this is episode number 105, being happy but never satisfied. That is the quote that Ivan lives by, that he encourages his coaching clients with his fitness clients. And we dive deep on this episode on, not only just his story. Ivan's got a great story about how he turned his passion and became a coach, and he's making an impact on the world. We talk about the common trends that he sees with the most successful clients that he's working with. We talk about the 4 words, I'll be happy if. I'll be happy if, and how those 4 words might just be sabotaging your transformation results. And we also get into some rapid fire questions about his morning routine, his favorite healthy meals, and his top exercises. Now, Ivan is just an amazing health and fitness influencer. He's out there, he's empowering individuals to become the happiest and most successful versions of themselves possible through his fitness studios, his mentorship programs, speaking engagements, and of course his coaching. So you guys are going to love this episode. Ivan is the man, and he really drops some knowledge on you. So without further ado, I'm bringing on my friend, Coach Ivan Barrera. All right, Ivan, welcome to the Million Pound Mission Podcast. How are you doing today, my friend?
Doing fantastic. Thank you for having me today, man.
Well, I have become a quick fan of your work, and I love following you on Facebook and Instagram. You're always just dropping some knowledge and delivering inspiration. So I'm so excited we got to connect with this show and finally get you here on the Million Pound Mission. And with any fitness influencer, with any health influencer, I know there's always some sort of a story behind that and how you got to where you are today. So I would love for you to introduce yourself to our audience and talk a little bit about how you've got to where you are today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my whole journey started when I was 17 years old. Kind of, had a failed, I would say, experience where like all I wanted to do was play college basketball, but an injury, stopped that from happening. So I tore 6 ligaments around my ankle. So I couldn't really get into college basketball. So I ended up, just doing the whole college thing. And I got certified as a personal trainer just because I feel like that was like the natural next step for me. And I got certified and I couldn't work yet just because I wasn't 18 yet. When I was 18, I got hired to be a boot camp instructor. So essentially I was just kind of putting a lot of people through outdoor workouts and whatnot. And, I started falling in love with fitness. I started falling in love with the transformation that was happening with people. And, but what's funny is that about 6 months in, I was talking to a coworker. We were out and just kind of hanging out. And I was like, man, like our boss, like, she's doing some great things. Like she's making a lot of money or whatever. Like, so I was kind of having that entrepreneurial thought process already. And, go figure that the next day my coworker went to go tell my boss or that boss that we had. And then I got fired the next day.
Oh no.
I know. So essentially kind of, she didn't want any competition or whatnot, but then that just pushed me to really, do my own thing. It's just, I knew I had something in me. I had a drive and a fire inside me where I wanted to just help people. At that time, I didn't really know what that looked like, but I just knew that I really wanted to transform people and just help them become better versions of themselves. So then that's when Faster Fitness started. So at 19, just kind of, started on my own. I was at the parks, just, really firing up people, like having a good old time. And then fast forward about a year after that, I decided to just go all in and get my own fitness studio. And then from there, we started, transforming our community here in Orange County. And it's been an amazing ride. We're 5 years in already. And the fifth year, we opened our second location up. And it's great just because that impact can continue to grow and grow and grow. And that's the biggest mission here is we want to help you become a better version of yourself. And I'm just obsessed with, helping any single person that walks in through our door because we know where they are today and they might not be happy with where they are today. And we just want to get them to where they want to be. And I just think that overall, that's our job as a coach. And I think that you can relate to that very much. So that's kind of where we're at, 5 years later. So 2 fitness facilities that we're doing our best to make some really crazy impact in our community.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love the verbiage that you use because I feel like there are people that are in it for the money and there are people that are in it for the impact, which will eventually lead to money, of course. And yes. I feel like you fit that category of, it's very apparent that you are interested in helping people and inspiring people and just all the work. I know how much work it is to be active on social media, and you are super active on social media and you are just cranking out content that is very meaningful, very purposeful. And I can feel that intent to help and inspire people behind every video you put out and the little, the cartoon Ivan meme post that you put out with the tips on, I'm going to hit you up on that because I like that idea, with Instagram. But, you're bringing back some fond memories of, a very similar story with me. I remember how nervous I was when I finally shifted from, I rented space in other studios. I, kind of bounced around the wandering fitness person that I was getting I had a Ford Explorer and I would just pack up all my equipment in my Ford Explorer and I was getting 2 miles per gallon of gas, it was just so heavy with kettlebells and dumbbells. Yep. And I remember when I finally just went for it and said, okay, I'm going to actually get a full-time facility. So how did that feel? 'Cause I know how nervous I was, but then once you get into it, it's kind of this huge sense of relief, but also a little bit of positive pressure. So, now that you've gone, your initial facility, now you've got 2 facilities, what was that transition like mentally for you as an entrepreneur?
It's so funny that you mentioned the whole truck thing, man. I literally did the same exact thing. I had a Tacoma and I had a bunch of stuff in the back. I'm like, man, I'm wasting more money on gas and I'm making money.
Exactly.
But you know what? It's crazy because it's almost like an obsession that I had that obsession of you want nothing but results and transformation, and you really do. You're driven by impact, and I'm pretty sure you had that same drive. And at 19, I mean, I don't know what you were doing at 19, but I definitely was not doing 19-year-old things. When I decided that I am going to do my own business, so much so that I dropped out of college because I was really, really committed to doing this thing, and which led to me disappointing the most important people in my life, which are my parents. I'm an only child, so we're very, very close with each other. But, seeing their disappointed faces, I committed to myself that, yes, they're disappointed now that I dropped out of college, but I'm committing to myself that I'm going to do anything and everything I can to make this thing successful, make this business successful, and like really, do what I'm meant to do. And so I put myself through my own education, through a lot of courses and, fitness, nutrition stuff, so I can just, get my skills to that next level to really impact my community. And then transitioning into, the first fitness studio, like, yeah, man, like you said, like it's positive, like nervous energy, but, it's kind of hard to like remember those times because I just you think about like, man, am I going to make the rent this month? How the heck am I going to get people in the doors? Like, but I think when people feed off of your energy and people, get to know you as like how they've gotten to know Adam, right? Like, I think the community just grows because where energy goes, energy flows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's initially kind of how the whole thing started.
Yeah, I love it, man. I think we do have a similar story, I feel, and there's a lot of us out there, and I think it's so cool that you just stepped up, saw your dream, and realized that college wasn't necessarily the right choice for you. I remember, I was in college when I started doing personal training, and I decided to make exercise science my major, and everybody in my family flipped out. And I remember it used to just piss me off so bad. My grandpa. I would go to his house and he'd always tell me, like, this is even after college, like I've got my business going. Actually, things are actually going good. But every time I'd see my grandpa, he would say, there's some openings. I can get you in on the fire department if you want to do a real job. I'm like, oh my God, kill me. So we would get in some arguments about that. But then, I just feel like people like you and I, we have that fire inside of us. And we realize that like you said, this is why you are here. This is your purpose. And you can't help but follow that. When that fire's burning bright, you got to go for it. So I'm so glad that you went for it. I'm so glad that I went for it. And that, I think that the world's gonna be a better place that people like us are out there, bucking the trend a little bit and really getting after our dreams. So one thing I mentioned, I love your social media stuff. I watched your live cast last night, and I want to dive into this topic because I feel like it's a topic that needs to be talked about. And the topic was the 4 words: "I'll be happy if." So if you could talk about that a little bit, what that means, and let's dive into that a little bit.
Sure. And there's a couple ways we can go about this, but think of those words, "I'll be happy if," right? So we think of different areas in our life. So whether if that be a financial area in our life, our career, our personal life, relationships, fitness, and, health. A lot of people, especially like our clients, for example, like our fitness clients, we hear a lot of people like, "Oh my God, I'll be so happy if I lose these last 10 pounds. I'll be so happy if I can, fit into these old size pants that I had." Or, in the business sense, like, I'll be so happy if I could add this much money to my bank account. But in reality is like, if you are driven enough to do that, and then these people do reach that goal, like what happens then? So if you do lose 10 pounds, what do you hear more times than none that person say? They say, I got 5 more pounds. I got 2 more pounds. Like there's always more, right? And there's nothing wrong with being driven. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. But the thing that I tell a lot of people is that you need to be happy and never satisfied. So be happy with where you are currently are today in your life, in all areas of your life. Be happy with where you are, but never satisfied, meaning that you should always be driven to do a little bit more and get a little bit better in these different areas of your life. But the fact that is that you can't forget about those first words, be happy. Be happy with everything that it took to get to where you are. Whether if, it's up to your standards or not, like you got to be happy with all the things, the highs and the lows that you've gone through to get there. And then you set out another goal. So say if it is 10 pounds or adding more money to your bank account, whatever it is, you now set yourself some goals, right? Work backwards. And then what do I have to hit first, second, and third to get there? And then celebrating a little bit. I'm a big believer on celebrating your wins and even your losses, because then that'll get you so much fired up to do the next thing. And that's one of the things that I really want to remind people of. Like, say you didn't lose those 10 pounds and lost 5, be happy about that, because those 5 will never come back. If you did add a little bit more income, but not what you set out yourself to get, be happy that you did that, just because it did take work. And I just want to remind people about that happiness factor. And to always have that in their journey of life.
Yeah, I love this topic because there's, like you said, there's a lot of different angles we can approach this at. And I feel like, so for example, I've got a client that comes to mind. I've told this story before on the show where her goal was to lose 40 pounds. And the whole approach up to that, like first few, couple of months, we got 20 plus pounds off. We're going really good. But then the weight loss starts to slow down because she has less to lose. But the whole focus was, I'm not there yet. I'm not at 40 yet. I've lost 20, but I'm not there yet. I've lost 30, but I'm not there yet. And the closer and closer she got, the harder and harder it was to lose because all that pressure she was putting on herself to not being there yet and not realizing like, wow, I've lost 30 pounds. That's amazing. And just being really cool with that. So I think goal setting in general with fitness, people don't realize that we're just kind of like, where did you get that you needed to lose 50 pounds and that was your goal? Like, it's just a number that we just kind of pick out there, whether it's fitness or business or whatever. And so I feel like we just put that pressure on ourselves. I mean, how do you feel about just the goal setting in general? Like with somebody setting a weight loss goal or whatever, I mean, how do you get somebody out of their head, I guess, in this situation where they tend to beat themselves up for not being there yet? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, and the thing is I think awareness plays a big factor in this, right? Because a lot of people, unfortunately, they are not always aware of how they show up as a person, right? So I literally was just talking to 2 clients last night about this topic. I have one person who's been with me for 5 years, and she's like, it's been 5 years. I really feel like more should have happened. So I think April 1st, she told me April 1st is going to be her 5-year anniversary training with me. And I mean, that in itself is amazing, right? Like having someone trust you enough to, help them for 5 years. But I know her as a person. I've known that for the last 5 years, every single goal that she set out for herself, whether if that's like to lose, let's say, for example, 10 pounds, but she hit 8, she beats herself up so bad for that. And like we're on the other side, like, are you serious? Like you lost 8 pounds, But I think the biggest thing is helping these people realize and being aware of the kind of person they are. If you know you're the kind of person that self-sabotages and, talks very negatively and you're your worst critic, right? A lot of us are our own worst critic. If you are that type of person, then goal setting is going to look a little different for you. We can't shoot up to the sky or, to the stars. Like we want to do that, but we can't do that because it's not realistic for that person, And so we want to make sure that the way I like to go about goal setting for someone like that is like we hit certain, stepping stones. So if it's, let's say, for example, 10 pounds, it's like, all right, in 30 days, we need to focus on losing these 2 or these 3 pounds. Okay. Just because we know as fitness professionals that that's realistic. Obviously, that's not something that the client wants to hear, but if we can keep them grounded and then focused on other things too, like, hey, you lifted so much more weight. Hey, your before and after picture looks amazing. Those things, I think, triumph that, pound or those pounds that, they want to lose. I think it triumphs that overall, and it's just kind of looking at the bigger picture. And that's essentially what I was talking to my client about yesterday. And it's just being aware of the kind of person you are. And then goal setting looks very different for you, and everyone has different ways of goal setting. So it's just kind of knowing yourself a little bit.
Yeah. Let's dive deeper on that, because I think not like what you mentioned, non-scale victories are huge, and measuring strength, measuring endurance, the pictures. So what types of those like non-scale measurements do you usually try to use with your clients or encourage people to start using? Just broaden their horizon of achievement, basically.
Right. And we have so many, which I think is great. And I really think that, anyone who's out there, especially if you're listening to this right now, you need to have different parameters for yourself and not just the scale, because most people don't have access to like the kind of scales that we do, right? That can measure body fat and a bunch of other stuff. But I think you need to set like little fitness tests. So we have a lot of fitness tests at our facility where, like we test you on how many push-ups you can do. And then we test again, 4 to 6 weeks later. Like that's like the easiest thing ever. Like, and that shows improvement without you having to step on the scale one time. Another thing is, taking a before picture. A lot of people, it's crazy. A lot of people don't take before pictures because they don't like the way they look. But I mean, they need to understand, like, everything from here is up. Everything is great because this is a starting point. This is your foundation. So you need to take, note of where you are. So make sure that you take a picture of yourself. And, yes, it's probably not the happiest of moments, but when you look back at it, like, you're going to be, extremely astounded with what you've done for yourself. So I think taking a picture, that's a big one. Obviously the scale, that's an easy one. Pants. So I know every single person has a pair of pants in their closet that they haven't put on in a very long time. So making sure that they don't throw those away and work towards wearing them again. Or even better, I like to, really motivate people by going out and buying a smaller size pants that they currently don't fit in. And then that's their goal pants, that they have to work towards. So a lot of people tend to really like that. Or if it's summertime, going to buy a bikini that they normally wouldn't wear for all the ladies out there. So, I mean, again, there's dozens and dozens of them, but like, I think those are pretty easy ones that people can get started with and start seeing results without having to step on the scale. The scale is cool, but it's not the most important thing. And most importantly, it doesn't define who you are as a person. Every single person's a very beautiful person. They're a radiant person, and they need to remember that about themselves and not have that damn number really define who they are.
Yeah, 100% agree, man. We're definitely on the same page with that. I talk a lot about, especially with the larger weight loss clients, like people that are losing 100 plus pounds, like that journey is a little bit longer, and it's very easy to fall into that person that's addicted to seeing the numbers drop and the results. And then all of a sudden you run out of real estate and you have no more weight to lose. So I kind of call it the new purpose, new identity conundrum that clients fall into. And like, you have to, like, for example, I've got a lady named Lisa. She's lost 150 pounds and she is done losing weight. And now it's working on things like, let's be able to deadlift your body weight, which she just did the other week. And I'm in the office and she's in a session with another trainer. And I hear this scream. And I thought something was wrong. And I run out there and Lisa's like, I just deadlifted my body weight. So it was so cool to see her transition successfully, because a lot of people that lose, 100 plus pounds really struggle with this because they are addicted to being that person, the biggest loser, the 100-pound person. And then all of a sudden you're not getting that same kind of attention. And then, a couple of years down the road, people don't even realize that you used to weigh that much. And it's just a little bit different mindset. It's easy to slip back into that person that's always trying to lose weight. So it's like, for you guys that are listening out there, really think about what Ivan's said here about those non-scale victories. You have to start transitioning and collecting those as you go through your transformation. It's super, super important. Now, Ivan, I know that you get out and you speak, you're in masterminds, you're always out there learning. Like I said, I follow you on social, so I've got a pretty good idea of how active you are out there in the fitness community. What kind of fitness trends are you picking up on? Maybe some that you're kind of excited by, and some maybe that you should kind of feel like you need to caution people about out there. So what are some positive, some negative trends that you're seeing right now in fitness?
It's funny. I think I'm going to really take this in a different direction because myself, like, I've gone through a journey I would say in my business life, I've gone through a journey where, like, I always wanted to know what the new thing was. I had shiny syndrome, or shiny object syndrome. Is that what it's called? Yeah. So saying, like, a new coach is like, hey, like, I want to help you do this for your business, or I want to help you grow this way. And, like, I was so obsessed with, like, learning new information that I got to a point where I got so burnt out, and I literally, like, lost, like, sight of who I was as a person because I knew that wasn't me anymore. Just kind of, like, always searching for the new thing, when in reality it's, the thing that was working is me, like, me as a person, how I showed up to the world and what I'm doing on an everyday basis. That's working. Like, I can't stray away from that. You know what I mean? And so I ended up stopping completely, like, looking at new things and focusing and going all in on certain things that did work well for my business and worked well to get my clients great results, and not using other people's, strategies, and just kind of, like, going with the things that do work for me. So, so I guess to answer your question, fitness trends, I tend to not, pay too much attention to them because it's phenomenal when you go on Google and you type in, fitness workouts or nutrition plans, like those millions and millions of like things that come up. Like it's just the most overwhelming thing. And I feel for all of our clients and the people that are listening and the people that are out there trying to become better versions of ourselves. Like there's so many different options and there's so much information out there. It's like, where do you start? But for me, like I'm a very simple person as it is. Like a lot of my clients kind of hate me for that, but they love me for it too, because it's like, what do I do now? What do I do now? I'm like, all right, well, you've worked out twice a week for the last 2 years. Let's bump it up to 3. And I guarantee you're going to see results in a year just by doing that. He's like, oh, I have to wait a whole year. It's like, yeah, it's a long game, Right. So, I mean, that taking something as simple as that, right? Like, and looking at where you are currently. And again, this is awareness, right? Seeing where you are today. It's all right. If I only work out two to 3 times, it's like maybe bumping that up 4 to 5. You're going to see results out of that. Okay. So I have an entire weekend binge of food, but Monday through Friday, I'm pretty good. It's like, okay, well, maybe not doing weekend binges and bringing that down to 2 days and then bringing that down to 1 day and then eventually taking that down to 1 cheat meal a week. You know what I mean? Like, so little basic things like that, like to me, that's the ultimate way to kind of live your life, because like those are things that any person can see, like, and kind of like it's tangible, right? Like you can see that that's what you need to do and then you'll see results. So, in a very long answer for you, like I didn't even answer your question, but like this is kind of like what I think works well for people, 10 years ago and 10 years from now. I think that's what's going to work for people. It's keeping it very simple.
Yeah, I love it. And I mentioned before we started recording that I podcasted recently on all the overwhelm that's going on. So I love when people automatically back me up without much prompting. So that's exactly in line with the way I coach, the way I try to coach people on the podcast, and it's the fundamentals. It's getting away from the fundamentals. It's getting away from being consistent with the fundamentals that causes all the confusion, because then we don't even know what works. We're trying different things all over the place, and it's it's just people spinning their wheels. So,
and most importantly, just to kind of sorry to interrupt you, but most importantly, I mean, from the millions of people, and I don't know how many people are listening to this, but every single person is different. And I think you as a person, you need to know what you like best. I think, let's say if we talk about like diets and nutritions or whatever, or nutrition plans, like go ahead and try them all. Like that's what I tell people. Go ahead and try maybe all of them, for a few weeks, but ultimately make the decision of which one you felt better with, which one did you like more, and then just stick to it. Because every single plan out there, whether if it's an exercise plan or a nutrition plan, it works in some capacity. It works. And that's what I think people kind of fail to realize, is that not one is better than the other. It's just if you like it a little bit better, if it fits your lifestyle, if it makes you happy, and it's not dreaded, like it's not a dreadful experience for you week after week after week. Like, oh my God, I'm like starving myself. Oh my God, I'm tired of eating asparagus or whatever, like what I mean? Yeah. So I think it's ultimately knowing the thing that works for you and just sticking to it for a very long time, and not just like a 21-day fix type thing. You know what I mean? Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I got asked in an interview yesterday, what's the best nutrition plan? I said, it's the one you do consistently. That's the answer every single time. So with your clients, and you've been in the game for long enough now, you're seeing some positive trends, you're seeing some great results. Do you notice any common traits or habits or mindsets of the successful clients that you're working with?
As far as them kind of like,
any common thread with the way they're motivated, the way they show up for you in their workouts, any common threads, traits, habits, anything that you can say, well, my best clients are doing this.
Gotcha. So if we talk about my best clients right now, my best clients are rule followers. So essentially, like how we mentioned earlier, that every person is different and it's okay to be different. So whether if you are a weight loss client where you need to lose maybe 40 pounds, 60 pounds, even 100 pounds, if you're that kind of person, I think being aware that from the start, knowing that, yeah, you do have a little bit further to go, but that's okay because you're getting started. But, taking it, week by week, month by month, year by year, because it is going to take that long. I think wrapping your head around that, which a lot of my weight loss clients have done. We try to help them to wrap their head around that this is not going to be a 21-day thing, a 30-day thing, 6 week. It's going to be a year thing. It's going to be 365 days. And then guess what? There's another 365 days after that. So wrapping your head around that, like we help them to keep them grounded in a sense, as far as like, this is what we are going to do today. This is what the plan is for the next 90 days for you. We're going to revisit, and then we're going to set up another plan for you. But ultimately, I think the biggest thing is that they listen to us, the coaches, and they trust us enough to put a plan in place together. And it should be a unique plan. So everyone out there who's listening, know that you are different, and please seek out help. Adam obviously is a great resource, so reach out for help. And, kind of knowing like, hey, where do I start? It's okay. And I think a lot of people don't, like, they fail because they don't ask questions. They don't ask for help. And even like I see that with I hate saying not my best clients, because I think all my clients are awesome, but some of my clients, they don't see results because they don't ask questions. And I'm sure you've said this statement I'm about to say, Adam, is the system works if you work the system. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, so you just need to ask for help. That's all you got to do is reach out, because there's people who've done it and there's people who are doing it better than you. So why not ask for help? So I think that's the biggest trait from my best clients, is that they ask for help and then they actually stick to the plan. It's consistency,
Yeah. I think a big part of it's just and people need to put their ego aside sometimes. And instead of, just like you said, instead of hacking it out and being like, I should be able to figure this out on my own. I hear that a lot. And we have to say, just like you mentioned, there's somebody that's out there that's done something, whether it's business, fitness, whatever. You find somebody that's achieved what you want to achieve, and you learn from them, and you give up ego and say, okay, I'm just going to show up. I'm going to be coachable. I'm going to put in work, and then good things are bound to happen. So that's the way it works. That's the way it works. All right. So Ivan, I've put together a few rapid fire questions for you, man, because I want to I love learning about everybody's story and their habits and things like that. So I've got 3 rapid fire questions. You don't have to answer them quickly or anything like that. Just, rapid fire sounds awesome in the podcasting world. So that's what I have, the rapid fire round.
That sounds good. That sounds good. I have my family feud button ready. Let's go.
Yes. Yeah. I might go like survey says, and we'll get it going. All right. Rapid fire. Question number 1. What does your morning routine look like, Ivan?
Ooh, I'm going to get a lot of people a little confused on this one. So I'll be honest, I don't have a morning routine, and this is going away from what all successful people do. But the reason why is because every morning is different for me. So I take let's say, for example, we study successful people, right? And I think a lot of people should too, just because from what we just mentioned prior, like there's people out there that are doing it better than you, so you should learn from them. So I take those things that these people are doing and I try to apply it to my life. But my life looks a little bit different than the next person. But nonetheless, like whether if I'm doing this at between 5 and 7 in the morning or 8 and 10 in the morning, I make sure to kind of fill my mind with positive things. That's why I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news because it's filled with the most negative things and like hurtful and disastrous things. And I just don't like to start my day that way. So for me, like, I love video. So I love to watch, positive people, and I love to watch motivational talks, TED Talks. I like to watch, just different videos that are streaming down Facebook that I follow, people that I follow. And, so I just kind of fill my mind with positive vibes. And then I make sure that any person that I have to keep in touch with or see that morning, that I fill that person up with positivity and love. I hug them harder than any hug that they're going to get for the rest of the day. I smile to as many people that I can smile to. I just try to spread a lot of love, man. Like that's pretty much my number one goal in the morning. It's whoever I'm in contact with. It's, sharing those good vibes to those people. So my morning routine is pretty much first, getting my mind right. So with whether if that's a book form, video form, like just getting something going and learning something. So podcasts, whatever it is. and then helping other people transform and getting their minds right. So that is my morning routine every single morning.
That's awesome. I'm reading a book right now by Brendon Burchard called High Performance Habits. Right. And he mentions positive priming, and he also mentions how it's important to think about how we're showing up for others, and how can we best serve the people that we are now present with. So I think that that's why you're a successful person, because you are doing these things. So that is awesome. Okay, rapid fire. Question number 2. What is your go-to healthy meal?
Go-to favorite meal. Actually, man, I have this one meal that my girlfriend's making right now for dinner, and it's like we call it Taco Tuesday every day is what we call it. So the reason why, it's like some grass-fed beef, and we have some fresh made guac, and it's kind of more like a keto type dish. No carbs in it, but like the guac is there. A little bit of cheese, and we kind of go from there. But like, that's honestly, like, it's so good. Like, and we have it every single night. I'm trying to stray away from having too much beef, but that's one of my favorite meals. And if we're talking about breakfast, like, I'm a big breakfast person, so like I said earlier in the podcast, like, I'm a very simple person. I'm very pleased with any kind of food that's good. So I like doing like my veggie egg scramble, and I like to have that with avocado on the side. Like, that's it. Pretty simple.
Nice. Yeah, I am super jealous that you're from California, and you guys have so many awesome, healthy choices, and like locally grown, locally farmed options. Where like Midwest, man, it's rough. It's rough going, man. Like, but being in the helping people with obesity game, there's an advantage there. But yes. It's I get so jealous when people are like, yeah, I went down to the Primal Kitchen restaurant, and I'm like, oh, I wish we had a Primal Kitchen restaurant. So yeah, totally jealous about California. Okay. Now I'm really going to put the pressure on you with this last one, Ivan.
Man.
Yes. Yeah. It's starting to sweat. If you could only do 3 exercises for the rest of your life, and you had to get the most bang for your buck from 3 exercises only, what would they be?
That's easy. Deadlifts, bench press, and push-ups.
Deadlift, bench press, push-up. All right. So why? Why did you choose those 3?
Honestly, for me, deadlift, that's literally the number one exercise that gives you the most bang for your buck, because you're literally working out everything. And I tell a lot of my clients this too, even for the people who don't like to deadlift a lot, there's more than just lifting up that weight from the ground, because I've had so many people comment, like, you don't know what people's days are like. You don't know what they've gone through, what kind of hardships that they're going through. And it's crazy, like a day at the gym. So say if you're like PRing on deadlift or whatever, and that person does it, and then as soon as that bar releases their hands to drop on the floor, like, it's almost like a whole weight is lifted. Literally a weight is lifted off of their body, and like, it's a sense of accomplishment and a sense of like happiness, and kind of forgetting about what that person just has gone through that day. And I've literally seen that emotion in people when they deadlift, and it's like, it's crazy. Like, 'cause if people are not in this environment, they don't know what I'm talking about, but I've seen clients like do that time and time again. And I think it's the coolest thing, 'cause then it's, like, there was a little breakthrough there. And like, I think for me, like, I've experienced that too, where, I'm lifting really, really heavy, and I got some crap going on throughout the day, just like we all do. And it's just funny how like one rep could change that, and that's why I like the deadlift. And bench press, it's more of a, kind of working those mirror muscles. It's just really my favorite exercise since I started. So, and push-ups, just because I'm going to heighten those muscles a little bit more. So,
yeah. Nice. Yeah. I love the deadlift for the same reasons that you mentioned. I love seeing, people, I love it because you see so many people that are afraid of it at first. They're like, oh, I'm going to throw my back out if I try to pick up something off the floor. And then people like you and I get our claws into them a little bit, and we change their mindset and say, no. If you do this correctly, it could be the most beneficial lift that you ever do. And then when they start getting strength, and then just like you said, that shine happens in their eyes, and like, wow, they feel empowered by the lift. And I had a woman that I trained that was in her 60s, and she had a goal to deadlift her body weight. And I've got my favorite all time picture is the day that she did it. And the person taking the picture with my phone captures the moment at the very top of the lift, and she dropped out the biggest F-bomb ever. and I'm just like smiling from ear to ear. It's awesome. It's an awesome picture. But just little moments like that, she never thought she would pick a bar up off the ground, let alone a 145-pound bar, and so it's the little moments like that I'm sure you get those every day, just like me. It's just special to share that empowering moment together. So that's awesome.
It truly is wild, man. And literally nobody else but people like us who are in the fitness industry will know what that feels like and looks like. So I think it's a pretty special moment between you and your client.
Yep. So I want to make sure that people can connect with you, because we've talked a lot about your story. I know people are going to enjoy the Ivan Barrera vibe. So what's the best way to connect with you? Follow your story on social. I'll make sure I link out to everything in the show notes and in the blog, but let's talk about following your story a little bit. How do people do that?
Sure. So, I try my best I use Facebook and Instagram a lot. Facebook, I do a whole lot more of longer videos and Facebook Live. So if people want to follow me there, I'm sure it'll be in the show notes on how you could just copy and paste my name, put it in the search bar and friend me. I literally friend everyone, and I have conversations with everyone. So if you ever have a question that you may want to ask me, I'll be more than happy to have that conversation with you. So you can follow me there. On Instagram, I like to post little shorter ones, like workout, motivational, quick little snippets of like what's going on in my day. So that's at Coach_Ivan_Barrera. Would be happy to connect with you guys and help you alongside your journey.
Now, and also, if you guys are out in California, out in the Orange County area, what's your website for Faster Fitness?
Sure, it's www.fasterfitnessoc.com.
Awesome. I want you guys to all check out Ivan's stuff, and I will link up to all that in the show notes and the blog, so it's easy to access and get connected with Ivan. Now, Ivan, last question. This is something that I love to ask anybody that's an influencer, especially in the health space. There are a lot of people listening in, and I know we've got a lot of newer listeners that are coming to this show. It's kind of a weird, universal magnetism that happens with my show. A lot of people have tried so many things, and they feel like they failed at so many things, and they're kind of beaten down by the process, and they're starting to lose hope. And, people like you and I, we're kind of like the backstop of the health and fitness transformation cycle, where we can say, I realize you've tried everything, but things are about to change because now we're connected. So if you could sit somebody down that's in that situation, feeling a little bit beat up by the whole process, a little bit stuck in a rut with their life and with their transformation, if you could sit down, look them in the eye, and give them some advice right now, what would that look like?
So the first thing that I would tell someone like that, if we were sitting down, is I really feel like our people are literally I don't know what it is about comparing ourselves to other people. Like when people compare themselves to someone who's doing it better, it just cripples us. And I know a lot of people are out there like that. And I really feel like that should be the number one thing to stop doing. Because again, I will say it, like I said earlier in the podcast, you are a very beautiful soul. You are a radiant person, and you out of all people should believe that. And you should not compare yourself to somebody else who's doing it their own way. Just because that person is shining in their own light, doesn't mean that they should take away the light from you. So stop having you stop comparing yourself to somebody else, I think is top thing that you should do. Alongside of that, the second thing is to don't let other people's words cripple you as well. Because I know a lot of people, if they talk negatively about what they are doing, so someone else kind of like haters, right? A lot of people have haters, and the thing is people will always say something bad about what you're doing. People will always look at it a different way than you look at it. But that's okay, because we're all unique. We're all, people on this planet all trying to do our own thing. So I think understanding the reasons why you're doing what you're doing, I think is important, and not listening to other people's negative words. I think that's pretty powerful. And then the last thing to kind of wrap all that up is knowing your why. I think you need to have such a strong why behind all the things that you do, where literally like you wake up in the morning fired up because you have a reason why you do what you do. You wake up early because of your why. You stay up late because of your why, or whatever it is that you're doing, you need to have a why. And for me, like, I've had that since day one, where I know exactly why I am working so hard, why I'm so obsessed with transformation, why I'm so obsessed with, just spreading the light and positivity to other people. I'm obsessed with it because I know my why. And I really feel like a lot of people out there, if you don't have a why, literally take pen to paper and just write as much as you can. What are the things that are most important to you? Who and what mean the most to you? And then try to revolve your entire life around those things, because I truly feel like having a strong why behind what you do will get you to new heights. So those are the 3 things that I'll tell people.
Ivan, wise words, man. That's you rock that. That's it's a tough question to answer. It's an important question, but I totally love the vibe that you're putting out there, man. And I'm so grateful that you're able to square away some time out of your busy schedule. I know you got a lot going on, but it's so nice for me to connect with somebody that I feel like is a kindred spirit. And I feel like we're on the same side of that battle line against obesity and depression and just all the confusion that surrounds fitness and health out there. So I just feel so lucky that we got to spend some time with you. I'm excited to continue to follow your story, because you're just a shining star in the health and fitness spectrum right now. And I'm psyched to see where you go next, man.
Oh, thank you so much, man. It's seriously a pleasure to be here, and I really appreciate you having me on. And for all the listeners out there, I really appreciate you listening to this point. It really means a lot to me, so thank you for that.
All right, everybody, here's the deal. As always, I want to challenge you. Ivan dropped a lot of knowledge on us here today with this interview, and that's entertaining and that's good, but we miss out if we don't apply any of it. So I want you to pick one topic, one point of inspiration that really connected with you today, and take action on that in the next 24 hours. And as always, that's how we get out there. That's how we own it. Every meal, every workout, every day. And I will see you on the next episode. Hang on just 1 second before you go anywhere, everybody. I've got a huge favor to ask of you, all right? We are in this together. We are doing this 1 million pound mission together as a community. And I'm so excited about the progress we've made so far. We're going to keep building it one person, one transformation, one voice at a time. It starts with my voice blasting into this microphone, giving you everything I've got, trying to inspire you and motivate you and give you the tools that you need to make those transformation dreams come true. The next voice is your voice sharing it with somebody else. Let somebody know that this will make an impact for them, that it inspired you and it might inspire them. If you really want to go all out, share this episode on your favorite social media platform. And if you do, please tag me so that I can give you a great big thank you. That's it. Share this out with one person that you think it could make an impact with, that can make a difference with. And I'll be so, so grateful for you. We're in it together. 1 million pound mission. It's on, my friend.